Uno, dos, tres. Rock roll. What it means, as they would say, the new coming out the closet, to be a starseed. And in a very non-spectacular, non-special effect way, while I talk, don't be disturbed by images that I will bring in. These are things that I thought were art, but I realized they channeled. I realized I data stream them, I channel them, I bring them in, and I want to explain what it means to be a starseed. Actually, a lot of people run with that label like a patch, like it's a trend, like it's this, oh, starseeds, and yes, it's all love and it's all kumbaya and drum circle and all peace and we're all from the stars. No, it's not. It's actually a complicated and complex situation to be a starseed. First of all, starseeds, when in tune, mind you, are human lie detectors. We're intense beings, so we're like in your face. We hardly blink. When we do things, we do things. When we say stuff, we mean it. We're not a non-resistant spiritual community where you can come and take, which was done in the past, and they tried over and over and over to do that to us. Doesn't work. We are inventors. We are scientists. We are engineers. We are also master builders. We can create stuff that the industry hasn't looked at. We can look at assembly pieces that different industrial services do not look at because they can't see that, because that's what we're here for. It's nothing to do with being cocky. In school, I wasn't the genius. I had these ideas which I believed to be genius, thinking about the nuclear reservoir of the atom is where the energy is stored that's transferred to energy that everybody's looking for, and atomic energy is absolutely a failure. Epic failure for what it causes and the side effects. Even a new nuclear fission they want to get into with this new thorium stuff. It's epic failure. All of these energetic things that have side effects that are parasitic, devastating, or destructive, such as also the CERN, a collider, to me are epic failures, because we are star seeds. Let me break it down. What it means to be a starseed also means is that I am completely convinced that I'm from another planet, that I have the total awareness that the Arcturian system is my home, and that I incarnated on this planet to help raise the frequency. I also witnessed that we have certain skills, that we see the corruption that we have on this planet, or have had, and we're winning. This is just more of a disclosure for the people that are looking for disclosure. So I don't know if I call this video Starseed Disclosure, or Coming Out the Closet Starseed, or Disclosure for Starseeds. First of all, what I want is people, if you have the awareness of other planetary existence before your past lives on this planet, you're a starseed. Yes, technically everybody is a starseed, but not everybody has the awareness that you are not from Earth. You're on this planet, but you're not from this planet. You're a person and a projection that was created here, but there's another part of your consciousness that does not come from here, where the point of origin is not this planet. And I'm not even talking about dimensions, as in layers. Let's say Earth is here. Then there's the fifth dimension, where it's the ascended Earth, where your cosmic counterpart is. When that fuses, the ladder to the upper realms are actually open. So the dimensional layers are like worlds within worlds within worlds. Let's say in this world you have the giants, and the people that have interdimensional craft. I'm not talking about government. They have the permission slip to pass between those lines, between those dimensions. Well, we are starseeds. We are aware of that. We are fully in tune with that. We can see the ships while others cannot see the ships. Like, do you really have to understand how isolated we feel trying to find our brothers and sisters? Our love is a little bit different. We love, or when we're in love with somebody, or we share love, that's on all levels. on all possible connections that can be made. That is not based on a relationship. That's not based on a marital status. That's not based on partnership, or whether the relationship is open, closed, polyamorous, or polygamous, whatever labels you want to give that. Our love is pure. The intent is pure. The energy is pure. The energy that comes through us is pure, as it will raise the frequency. So basically, you watching this video on YouTube means your molecules are now being atomically agitated by the communication that comes through me. We have a different level of intelligence that is beyond the Howard Hall of Quackadeem. Howard or whatever, Harvard, all of these universities are strict protocols with fixed baselines for how knowledge, knowing the ledge, is to be taught. Us starseeds, we have the awareness that we are cosmic beings in a human vessel. And for me, it was complicated. I wasn't a school nerd. My grades sucked, It's not like, oh yeah, Einstein too, that it's nothing to do with that. Like, it's complicated when you're a daydreamer, meaning I realized, and this, you have to understand the level of intelligence that comes through us is like I had to stabilize my alpha levels in order to learn and teach my brain on this earth to enhance myself for the streams and downloads that I'm actually predestined to receive. But it's training like weightlifting, and if you don't do that, you cannot access that. It's like Picasso. You can pick up a brush, but you can have no talent, meaning not being without talent, meaning not accessing your database of your prior lifetimes on this planet. So there's a learning process, and certain people that have certain skills have that. So we call ourselves artists. That is a cover. When I'm painting something about nuclear structure and the nucleus, and agitation, and atomic agitation, and photonic modulation and informational exchange, I'm really serious. I really mean what I'm talking about. Meaning that you have to understand, like I have a device that you can clip on a fuel line. You clip it next to a fuel line and your car starts saving fuel. I'm not going online yet because I don't have enough prototypes. I'm sold out. The testing is all positive. Now I'm working on a bigger device, which I will call the Ra cell. And you have to imagine that in your brain, we are being attacked. We have all arrows in our back. It's just called this crucifixion or the Jesus effect. Not that I'm Jesus or I want to be Jesus. It's like you don't want that type of fame. But when you're an inventor and you bring stuff and it actually works, the resisting level of the viral infection of this planet will attack you, will hate you, will attack your video, and will go at you. We have to modulate that frequency, transmute that, pass through that, and go in and bring forth a rainbow frequency, as you can see in the Michael Jackson video with the Jackson 5s. Can you feel it? What does that guy do? I think 1972. Listen to the intro. He has this rainbow bridge. They show it as a bow, and they show it as a bridge. And what he does, he puts his hand under it, and he puts that bow up. People, you have to understand, this is not just creative artwork. This is channeled material for us, by us, to this is what we're doing, raising the rainbow frequency. Jose Arguelles, who modified the streamings of the translation of the Mayan calendar, if you're not into that, said in 1987 at the first cosmic convergence they had, that Earth will go into this rainbow pattern, where we are into it. Like it will have this rainbowy atmosphere coming into it, and he was laughed at. Would nobody paid attention to that? Beats me. It's like I really observe. It's not really magical. It's actual scientific fact. It's biological. We have rainbow clouds. These rainbow effects. It's not a rainbow. It's just you see a little blimp and it's a rainbow. Many pictures are online. Look for rainbow clouds. That was not the fact in our consciousness before 2012. It wasn't even there. So are you getting that? We're having apps for the iPad. One is called Osmosis, where you are a cell and you have to grow and you have to travel through a vast void of organisms where there are unhealthy cells and healthy cells. And you gotta take the healthy cells and outgrow the unhealthy cells and heal the organism. And as you do that, as you travel, you lose cell matter. That cell matter that you produce as you're moving, again, the game is called Osmosis, makes you lose matter. So you gotta balance with giving off matter and collecting matter. Why is this app being released? Because we're channeling ourselves, how we're repairing our own cell codes. That's ingenious. There's another game that's called Splice, where you have to splice the human genome into DNA patterns symmetrically so they can create life forms. Whatever that will be, you don't know. What you're looking at is not the life form, you're looking at the harmony that you're creating within that cell structure when you're splicing the gene. And it's called Splice. And also, what's so interesting, and I find that incredibly ingenious what we are creating, like much respect to the human race and what you do. When you fail your splicing, and this organism cannot be in a creation and harmonious, and it's not symmetrically, like, the two hemispheres need to be balanced. That's why we have these split images that need to be balanced out. You can travel back in time and start again and fix it. But guess what? The ETs, our brothers and sisters, which namely the future version of us, which is only logical, it's the only thing that makes sense. We travel back in time to fix the fallen part of our consciousness. If you don't understand what that means, fallen consciousness and race consciousness and Nephilim and Ophanim and Seraphim, the Anu, the Draconians, Star Wars, the Jedi, the angels, the Ophanim, the Sith Lords, the Draconian, the Asir, from controlling the Orion sector. These are all Orion Chronicles. Star Wars is a channeled script from people that listened to channels that didn't release books at that time. If you go back to Madame Blavatsky, she talked about interdimensional cosmic treaties and whatnot, Alice Bailey, all of that stuff. And not in conspiracy theories that destroy everything. We have things that actually work, and once applied, we can show the world that they're working. And you have to wonder, why is it that certain phenomenal information doesn't have millions of views? Like one guy with linseed oil treatment heals people after chemotherapy. Listen to Dr. Bruce Lipton. Doesn't have millions and millions of views. Fashion chicks and the superficial consumerism has millions of views. That seems to be where the consciousness is. Now imagine if we, these cosmic monkeys that used to be asleep when we're in prison, and we're coming out of this prison of our mind, and YouTube is given as YouTube is being channeled as a free channel for you to create what you actually have to share on the universe. You're being gifted with the key to free yourself with your own knowledge, bringing actually to you what's beneficial. Can you even fathom that? To me, it's like that's insane. Dolores Cannon, rest in peace, who recently passed away. Convoluted Universe, hypnotherapist, went into hypnotic states with her clients where doctors would tell her or colleagues, don't go there, this is the dangerous area, or where people go cuckoo. You have 300 to 500 cases, correct me if I'm lying here, maybe she has 1,000 cases. All her clients leave Earth. They leave past lives, pre-birth. It's called a regressive hypnotherapy. I still want to do that with anybody who knows the technique or studied under her. So I want to do it professional. Because I was skeptic. I didn't believe that anybody can bring me in hypnosis and then I come back and then I don't remember what happened. I want to remember. I want to be conscious. But I have that stuff coming in while I'm awake, while I'm aware. Where I see somebody in the street and I said, okay, China, Shogun, we were in the field. We used to wear golden armory. We had our swords in the back, and we will work for a king like a royal army. And the person would say to me, "Yeah, I remember you from that. I don't know your name, but what you're saying is all I'm getting goosebumps." And there's a resonance of cell memory that clears itself and says, "Yeah, I remember that guy. There's something to it, Or I look at somebody, and I'm saying, looked at 2 girls, and I'm like, okay. I said, okay, you're together because you used to be male, you used to be female in the past life, and you used to be, your love was stronger than the boundaries of life, death, body switching templates, born in amnesia and trying to, learn the lessons of life. So you tracked each other down and you follow. To my girl, I would say, your mother is actually your sister in many, many lifetimes. It used to be the best of sisters. And it's like, when I listen to you talking, you're not talking like mother and daughter. You're like sisters. Like, the younger and the older sister. And it could be that the older is the younger now, and the younger is the older, and to see what the teaching goes, and what the reactive point of who's teaching what. Sometimes is, I call them the purple sheep in the family. We are the outsiders. I was in school talking about racism. It's not only that I had a color and I was in an all-white school and I wasn't picked in the team that was the elite team. So the outsider team wouldn't even pick me. Where the handicapped ones and those who couldn't run that fast, or somewhere mildly autistic, even those wanted to be appealing to the elite team. That's how deep that goes for me. And me with my UFOs and all, I'm so far out there that even they would not really want to hang with me, because I'm too controversial. Why would you want to hang with me? Same as an MC. I'm not gangster. I'm metaphysical, conspiracy, disclosure, clearing up, trying to help to wake people up. And the stuff that I scribbled, the first script that I streamed for an album cover that I called Consciousness, to German Bewusstsein. I thought, I'm very artistic, so I'm putting together scribbles, artifacts, gene codes, my brain, put a little chip in there, and little wiring and misfiring and DNA codes. Called myself the genetically engineered reborn mastermind, Germ, half German. That was back then was the name. And then I flipped it on the metaphysical side, from the physical, genetically engineered reborn mastermind. I mean, where are all these ideas coming from? Just because I'm so creative? No, there's a connection and a remembrance of stuff that I have access to, like Akashic Records. And then I said, okay, that is the God body, Elohim, reproducing melanin on the metaphysical aspect. So I'm like, I can go further and on with acronyms and words that come to me, where I see, why do I see these things? Is this mere creation, or is there an intelligence to it? Saying also that the English language is a derivative of an ancient Sumerian base language, and the slaves that were segmented, millions of slaves, if you can imagine. For that you have to study the Adam's Calendar, Michael Tellinger, watch his interview and video, mind-blowing. Like the Anunnakian base, the cloning chambers, hexagonal chambers where clones were created, all found. All in Africa, millions and millions of ruins of buildings that had no doors. And more buildings that people could actually have built them. So we have phenomenal evidence of stuff that's here, that's mind-blowing. Zachariah Sitchin, the 12th planet, has not been debunked. That's all BS. Read the Sumerian text. John Carter, the Disney movie, check how the gods fly, how they come in, how John Carter projected himself to Mars with catching actually an angel, which we would call the interdimensional crisis manager, and uses that to go to Mars and leave his mummified body back on Earth. Stargates, in and out, the movie Stargate, SG-1, all of that stuff is we channeling ourselves. We are bringing ourselves back in. And what I do is basically help those that are coming in to deal with that information, to understand you are not crazy, you're completely sane. There's stuff that you can bring in, but you have to do the work. I study that stuff. I study hard. I study every day about nuclear, atoms, atomic structure, photonic light. What is a photon actually? A messenger, photon, or also angel. So is an angel a photonic resonance of a higher dimensional interface that communicates with you to understand how to adjust yourself, because you have to understand the vastness of your spirit. It's deep. It's so deep, and I'm on fire. It's like I'm coming back. I had a little bit of a, you can say, relapse, because somebody tried to, you can say, rob me and run with this stuff, hurt me very, very much, and I had to really, really recover from that. I had to go through a lot of, you can say, parasitic beings that means like if I'm so useless and so unimportant, why would these people try to take ideas, run with it, and try to get millions? If that what I'm saying is so out there that it doesn't make sense. I'm for people healing. I'm for planetary repair. Like I have the solution. Like if you want to fix denial, it's real simple. And I sound like an idiot, but in 10 years, and I leave this video up, you will have the evidence. There's a guy in Illinois who built a pyramid coated it with 24 karat gold, and all of a sudden he has a water well in his house. What is that? That's the ancient way of water calling from the ground. It was known in Egypt, and that's the energy that you want. If the ground responds to your angelic calling, you're clearing the environment. So now can you imagine what would happen if you put the gold that was on the Gizeh Plateau pyramids back, coat the pyramids again, put the capstone back, make it a clear quartz crystal. The Nile would clear itself, poverty would change, the water levels would grow naturally, water would return to the desert. It's a generator that they shut off, and then naturally you would watch, put the gold pack on the pyramid, watch how the pyramid actually worked without assuming so much that you try to establish and it doesn't work. Take a 51-degree pyramid in your backyard, have it 10 feet high, and if you have the money, it's maybe $2,000 to $3,000, maybe less. Gold plated. You can buy that on eBay. 24 karat gold leaves, and let it sit, and water will appear in your backyard. That's fact, and I wonder, why are you not out there? Start building. You're master builders. You watch a movie like Lego, the Lego movie. What is the guy in the Lego movie where there used to be a time where the dimensions used to be like this, and you can easily cross because everything was open, until the corporate came in there. They call it Mr. Business. What is Mr. Business? What is that? It's the old draconian, the influential, the draconian Anunnaki, and even further back. And what did they do? They set up barriers, so the crossing was not allowed anymore until we forgot that we can actually cross. And there's one guy that had in his cell memory, who's the master builder, the star of the show. I suggest watch that with your kids. Parents who have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. He has the first brick, the first Lego brick of source creation when dimensions were open. And he needs to bring that back to open the gates. But first he has to learn what it means to be a master builder. This is what I am. I can look at parts and they glow. I can see something, okay, ionic here, negative ions here, a magnet here, a crystal here. Then I go here, 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 here. Okay, Schumann resonance here. Then I assemble it and, okay, turn it on. Okay, this is what happens. That's what I see. I'm a hobby scientist. I've been reading this since I was 11. Still doing hip-hop, still living life. Grew up as a technician, computer VCR tech repair, on rooftops, fixing antenna systems, adjusting satellite dishes so people can watch TV. Not wearing a robe, not saying namaste, and trust me people, I love you. But spiritualism means realism, meaning being really real with stuff that works and not. I spoke to somebody, the lady had a metal allergy, and she has a healer, so she tells me. And I tell her, get organic sulfur, Patrick McGee, and again over and over. Get your oxygen transport base level before any supplement can work. Anything, get that corrected, get that into your system. Not listening to me, but you're living with your healer. Your healer's been with you for 10 years, and then I go back and ask, so you still having your allergy? Yeah. So what does that tell me? You're living with your healer. You don't want to change healing modalities, and you prefer to be sick. We have to get out of dream space here. Same thing with cancer. I don't have the cure for cancer, and I don't claim that I have. But I believe in there are modalities and alternatives. I spoke to a woman that said she had terminal. The doctors gave her 12 months. She went to Peru, did the ayahuasca thing, which is also, I don't recommend that right now. That's a whole other issue. Came back, X-ray, cancer clear. So there are modalities in nature. I'm not talking synthetic developed pharmaceutical stuff that numbs your nerves so you won't have the pain. And people are free of that. Baseline also, oxygen transport in your body. Get the base level. You need to jump and run and order it like yesterday. But people are quicker to buy Coke or the new lipstick because that's what our mindset is. You see what our slave programming, and that comes for everybody. I don't care if you work in the government, FBI, CIA, MIB, or if you're a janitor, or if you're a teacher or you're a lawyer, you're all in the same program construct of a distortion level that kept you, you can say here, dimensionally. And now, people like me, we are allowing ourselves to come out the closet. Yes, yes, here. My constellation, I tattooed that in my arm, to show I'm committed to that. I have an understanding and an understanding that I know that I'm from Arcturus. I know that I'm Arcturian. I know that I'm funky as well. I'm funky. So don't forget life. Don't forget Earth. Don't forget this entertainment of what makes you enjoy life, but not the entertainment that then trains you to go asleep. Because everything over 5 minutes that's not beneficial for you, guess what? You're going to do this. You're hypnotized. Your brain adapts to the BS if you watch it, and you become part of it. You take that in. Information is like bread. If you have the information, guess what? You nourish the body. If you have correct information, they found out people that have the correct information, they can Habasha said it. Eat less. They don't eat that much. They eat more efficient. I also believe, and I'm going way out there, that Steve Hawkins would not see ET so negative and so bad if he would understand that we can bring that guy back with an organic sulfur diet. If anybody has contacts to that guy, put that into this diet and watch his muscles return. Oxygen transport depletion, viral infection, parasitic, affects you like that, and we can heal all of that, and this is all coming back, and it's not miraculous. It's biology that we forgot over time. We haven't looked at. Same with Muhammad Ali. Can you imagine we can bring that guy back with the right diet? He would be coherent. He wouldn't have the jitters. Michael J. Fox, Parkinson. Can you imagine we can bring that guy back with the correct diet and discipline in an environment that harmonizes the frequency, that gives the body the optional chance and modality to heal itself, because that's how your brain is built. That's how you function. So I'm here in this world admitting we're like angelic agents, waking up to the fact that we're other planetary beings, and then see how the resisting part didn't welcome that I had death threats, money stolen from me, savings. I mean, I went through hell. You can't even imagine. And I'm not Nobel Prize. I'm not famous. Please subscribe. All my fans, I'm so thankful because you showed me that there's a collective that helps the imaginary cell, which I am, to imagine a better world. And that's what we do. And the imaginary cells, the science has laughed at doctors that said what they don't understand, there is we have cells in the body, but there are some cells that they do not quite understand in the butterfly, and they call them the imaginary cells. That means they imagine, they channel in through photonic input and light information that comes from the source a completely different gene code. You understand, from the caterpillar to the butterfly, can you understand that transformation? That you're going through that. We're in the middle of it. And since 2012, that window has been, we are enabled to do that. That's all it is. It's not nothing magical, and the ships will not all of a sudden appear. The ships are already here. The ships have never left. Our consciousness has left. The trick is with Garden Eden, we have never left Garden Eden. We fell out of the consciousness of the perception of that this is actually every day. Your bliss is every day. Your peace is every day. Your harmony is every day. You don't need to be a guru, shmuru, or life, or I watch porn, I stop watching porn, I have to put that in there. All of these labels is BS. It's BS. I eat meat, I don't eat meat, I eat this, I'm a breatharian, I'm this and that. When we have a trillion supplements and nobody walks over water. You see? Does it make click? Magic takes place when you actually get it. When you actually understand, okay, this is how I bake bread. Flour, water, certain seasonings, I put it in the oven, et voila. And you have something you can feed people. So we have to get into the physical. And I always say, my Arcturian council, when they communicate to me, they say it takes the physical to create the physical. So people say, okay, when people channel, or what I do data stream, it's only yourself. That's only 50% true. The highest aspects of your cell structure are in communication with intelligence that's further out there. And that has to do with your perception and the vastness of spirit. Meaning, like, it's like saying the motor is fuel. So all is one. But guess what? When you run out of gas, your motor stops running. So this all is one and one is all. It's not always one is all and all is one. It has to do with when 10 people act in unison, guess what? Less talk, telepathy kicks in. There's mutual agreements and understanding and harmonization of thought patterns. That's when you get telepathic. What is telepathy? What's the basic level of telepathy? Feeling one another. Like if I approach a person, and I'm not perfect, you know. I was a while ago, I was flirting, trying to kick it to a girl that was not really feeling me on that level, and I only felt myself. That's when I was not really in telepathy. And telepathy is basically I approached that person and I got rejected, and I'm like, what is it that I didn't understand? Well, now I know when you look at people, we want to love, we want to open up, we want to connect. We are very shy about it, and I urge those who are camera shy. This is better than Hollywood, because see, in Hollywood, an actor has a written script and plays pretend. I'm not pretending. It's past that, you know. For entertainment, that's all nice. You play something that you're not, okay. But this is I am that. I am of the Ra collective. That has nothing to do with, oh, there was somebody who channeled the Ra material. Are you the Ra, the sun god? No, Ra, I call it rainbow ascension. That's what I identify with myself with. And Ra meaning that it's like, are you one of the Smith, or you Mr. I don't know, Blackston, or Mr. Dexter? I'm Mr. Ra. And Arcturus is for the sun and the light, the frequency of Arcturus, that which is I represent. Everything about me is Arcturian. And I bring that forth and I communicate that and I transmit that. Everything is Arcturian. I have a little bit of, you can say, Pleiadian waveforms with me when I do my art. That's the Pleiadian advisory board. Certain beings I can see. And the more I heal myself, basic level again, the clearer you get, the cleaner you are in your thoughts, the purer you are, meaning coherent with what is, not fictional creation. The more you get telepathic, the more your third eye opens, the more you get psychic, the more you get in tune with what is around you. And then you can actually merge with your future self. And this is the only thing that wants to happen, is that your future aspect, the highest potential of your future selves, in a probable timeline that already exists, wants to become one with you. And when we say, oh, ETs and this and that, these are the old cell structures of a viral infection, and I have to say this, that are still resisting that they want to heal. It's basically saying, I met a lady that had cancer, and she refuses to take any healing. She wants to die like that. Well, the angels can't interfere, you know how it is. It's some people's choice to say that everything is mumbo jumbo, it's humbug, it doesn't exist, and I want to suffer and die. That's their choice. That means their lesson is what happens if you make a choice that you actually can get out of misery. And we're so programmed that we don't even realize how deep the misery is that we have created over and over in order to experience ourselves, because we forgot to feel ourselves. And the same goes for me as I'm going through my healing modality, and I'm getting much better as I'm coming back, and I'm very happy. A lot of new things coming, a lot of new bigger projects that I'm working on. Also fuel saving for trucks, like I said. And I'm assembling stuff, and I have a league of truckers already behind me. And then I checked even myself, because I was doubting myself. I was like, you know, all of this mishap happening, and I picked these situations that set me back. It's like, why not make a choice to end this and say, I believe in myself now. Sorry for the background noise. I'm in a neighborhood that's very active. And I bring it in step by step. Don't get greedy. Yes, we need money. Money was created to teach us what do we do with the energy that is given to us, that is introduced to us. That's the root of all evil, and not investing here and there or waiting for the stock market to crash. That's all speculation. So far, as long as that does not happen, we cannot bank or invest or bet on that. So work with what you have and do it smart. Do not waste that energy. Smart investments. Like I have an idea where, I don't know, and that takes probably years to build, to heal the Gulf Stream. Same thing as the Gizeh Plateau. It sounds simple now, and once it's done, people will be amazed. It amazes me that billionaires or talent scouts won't even find my videos, won't even hook up, because I can give instructions. Real simple with the Gulf Stream, okay? We have these oil, you know the storyline, the oil spill, the insurance companies for this big oil company, and I'm not so much into politics, I'm just looking at the peripherals. They see the oil at the surface, and the insurance will pay when the oil disappears. So they claim they heal the Gulf Stream, put a chemical in the Gulf, and the oil kind of turns into these oil clouds, and you've seen divers that have showed that. So you have underwater dark cloud pockets that sit in the Gulf Stream, and the thermal stream that was under there is disrupted. It's not flowing. We can bring it back. Sounds simple observation skills, but genius needs to understand genius, and I think that's ingenious that I can see that. So there's a guy called Aido, A-Y-D-O. Check Aido water. He looked at how does nature turn oil into chlorophyll. How do we change that pollution that we seem to not have a grip on? Well, an oil spill can take up to 10 million years in the settlements of water and the stones and the rocks and the minerals to clear. So he's like, what is the potency of that water that runs through that? And he checked and he said, it's alkaline. Sounds simple now, but you have to have that genius idea, and I think that guy's a genius. And he said, okay, if I increase that alkalinity of that water to, let's say, 14 or 15 pH, and I have an oil spill here, what happens if I introduce that? Can I accelerate that timeline? Well, in 5 minutes, the guy turns motor oil into chlorophyll. It's mind-blowing. You want to order some water? Order idle water. The dude chose it. In the street, spills the oil, spritzes it. Yeah? Puts his hands in this stuff that turns green. Fertilizer. Organic fertilizer, by the way. Organic fertilizer, not chemical fertilizer. Okay? We have, it's all, everything is here. Now it's up for us and for you. That's why I'm like, I kind of agitate you. Activate, investigate, order that stuff, do it at home, test it yourself, see for yourself. See with my Gamatron key. You know, people think, yeah, placebo or make believe or it's a jewel piece and this and that. The nano sand actually has an effect on the human cell. If I put my key technology in my fuel technology, it's so powerful that your car, guess what? Your oil stays clear. Your car starts saving fuel. We have physical effects, quantum physics. Basically, there were people that didn't believe at spooky action in the distance. Well, this photonics show there is a spooky action in the distance. I also realized if I put that photonic sand into resin in a vacuum, air begins to change. Rain patterns. If you make that bigger, like I haven't. Before I go to the next project, and I'm gonna display everything because I'm really tired. Secrets, like build it. Gulf Stream healing. Oil pockets clearing. It's like a Tony Stark industry type project that would be. I would direct that, and I would need somebody that has a ton of money because we need money to move that, and not for me to get rich or whatever. It's just to get it done and get a fair exchange. So I'm throwing it out there. Who knows where that ends? So basically, with a big ship, a tank. German, you saw it, Tanker. We say Tanker. We would load that with, I don't know, millions of gallons of idle water, 14 pH level. Okay? And then my devices, photonic devices with my substance, which I would have to produce, with these funds. So shoot your idea, and I'm throwing it out there. Maybe one day I'll do it. I will just do it. Photonically enhanced with a Pyrex glass vial so the photons can shoot out, encased in a stainless steel container with windows so the photons can shoot. And the devices would be like, I don't know, as big as a truck. And we would have, I don't know, maybe 20 that have to be dropped so they would hit the ground in the Gulf Stream. That means they would photonically and negative ionically recharge the water and activate the water systems. That's level 1. Level 2 is an underwater pump with a weight to it where we would go with the idle water to where the oil pockets are and pump the 14 pH level into the Gulf Stream. So now imagine this is the Gulf Stream, and we will make this entire area highly photonic and negatively ionically charged and very, very alkaline. The oil pockets will dissolve, and the fauna and flora and corals will return. And that's not guessing. And I bet $1,000. Anybody who wants to bet, under witness, that if you do this, you clear the water waves, you're bringing the natural elemental energy force back to Earth, and you're accessing new energies, and you will be amazed how that will affect the energy on Earth and also the consciousness. Next project. There was a lady that approached me, and I forgot her number, and hopefully she find me again. I want to bring back Bear Lake with funding, because that stuff needs to be built, and material costs money, and we still have to respect the exchange that is our barter system, and I go with that. So funding is needed for transport trucks, photonic substance that needs to be produced. I need to create another lab to create even bigger devices. We can bring the Bear Lake back, whether it is the water level or the alkalinity or the regulation of the pH level. It can be brought back. I have the technology. I have complete downloads, just like Tesla, what to build. I built little devices in my Etsy store that already help you to recalibrate and bring yourselves into that consciousness. But understand, you want higher IQ, you want a healthy body, you want to get better. Guess what? I'm a starseed. Again, this is what this disclosure thing is about. I have things I say it, I need to be on Gaiam TV. You need to find me, whether it's David Wilcock or it's Giorgio Tsoukalous or George Nuri on Coast to Coast. Please, people, find me. I have stuff for people. I'll blow your station up. I have stuff that I can say where millions will respond and say, well, I have the same experience that you're sharing here right now. And you're seeing double digits, 1111 on the clock. That means you're already in tune. So you're already in tune to what I'm saying. You're seeing numbers and license plates. You're seeing, I don't know, I was thinking about somebody that I really didn't like because they really, really hurt me and invaded my space. People that I had in my home that I cooked for, blah, 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 yada, 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 bada, boom, bada, bing, bada, bada. Anyway, and I was like, this was so painful. Why did it happen? And a car passes me by with a license plate. That's why I love this in America so much. And it said, let it go. Do you think that's a coincidence? Or I'm in a car and I'm thinking about a person that had a group of people following them, and I'm like, this person is rigged, this person is an agent, he's not conscious, I feel like he's here to distract us. Is that correct? In my mind. Or is my intuition off here? And the car passing me by, why you PPP? Yep. And I'm like, here you go. And the stuff continues. I mean, I have pictures where I documented myself before I left Berlin, where I asked myself, should I move? And down a block, a furniture company changed their name the next day and hung up a sign. And I'm asking the question, and I look up, and it says, move. And the truck passes by, and it says, like, now. And I'm like, I'm in Germany. I'm at a military complex. My father was in the military. So, my mother goes shopping in the military complex. and a red Sedona van parks next to my mom's car. See, we don't have a lot of US cars in Germany. When these things happen, you know that is supposed to be. And that means on a quantum level, extremes will meet. That is just fact. There's nothing that will deteriorate that, throw it off, or there's no guesswork. I'm here. I'm the example. Like, I was moved to do my job, and I'm doing better, and I'm getting greater, and I'm making a lot of powerful contacts with people. Blessings to the people around Bear Lake, Yeshua Tree, people that helped me, the brother with the tent. We will meet again, and I will return, and more to come. I have a project that I'm working on. Is a weather modulation project. I realized when the weather when it gets too hot and gets into extremes, they say that I'm not even talking about the cosmicality that's coming in. We have spaceships that ionize the air, that regulate, because Earth is a little bit of trouble and needs a little bit of help. And I was like, okay, if they negatively charge the air, what does the air look like around the Niagara Falls? And why is it more cool and not extremely hot? Well, the water molecules do the negative ionization. So I'm like, okay, if I build a solar-powered wind turbine that sits in a 72-degree golden mean ratio pyramid, which is a Nubian pyramid, which is energetically 2 million times, as in Bovis units, more powerful than the Gizeh Plateau pyramid. And I blow air through it, suck it in and blow it out the top, and use an imploder that Dan Winter has invented to implode the air, meaning to fractalize the oxygen, so you have actually more oxygen available running through a gold capacitance, so the air is not only fractalized, it's also gold fractalized, so it runs through golden metal. So gold is the perfect particle. If you look at the mandala, it's the perfect fractal, put it this way. And I'm doing this real quick. What would happen to the environment? And in my dream, and maybe I'm telling this myself, the temperature will drop by 15 to 20 degrees. Will regulate. Rain clouds will regulate. You won't have 110 degrees like you have in Vegas or other places in Arizona where it's too hot, which I believe are remnants of nuclear wars we had in ancient times. So the weather is still out of whack. It needs regulation. So I'm like thinking, if I have 4 solar powered generators, 30 foot high, 72 degree, golden lace pyramids, I will have 4 fountains in that, waterways coming in, protective layers of energy, photonic and negative ionic regulation, and the temperature will be around 85 degrees, and it will be pleasant, permanent, keeping the energy solar powered because it can't come from a parasitic background. So that stays divine, also harmonizing the electricity that will power the generators with a Schumann resonant frequency of 7.83 hertz. And guess what? They found out when you play that to a plant, that frequency, the plant grows bigger. If you play the frequency of 60 hertz, which is in your fridge, guess what? In 3 days, that's what happens to your strawberries. They begin to rot. Well, guess what? If you put your strawberries with the Schumann resonance in a root cellar, they last 4 weeks. It doesn't take a genius to figure that out. You can do that at home. You can take my photonic substance and take a photonically enhanced pebble of a diameter of 0.8 millimeters, take 1 liter of milk, put the photonically charged pebble, in the bowl and let it sit for 3 days. Mind you, milk is pasteurized, homogenized, processed, additives. It's actually dead. It's like dead fat. It's not really biovital. It doesn't do anything for you. Not even on a probiotic level. So what happens when you take regular milk that you let sit in a bowl and put it next to your fridge? Without that, it begins to rot. It will begin to smell nasty. It gets ugly, meaning the energy is dropping. It gets foul. Fungus comes in, bacteria, parasite, all of the negative crap. That's the potential for what is being sold in the market. That's just fact. When you put the photonically enhanced silica quartz nano in there, in 3 days, your milk turns to yogurt. And anybody can test that at home. I don't have the pebbles right now to ship out for people to do their own experiments, because I have so much to do. Everybody needs something. Maybe at some point I'll show it on camera how that works. Yogurt that turns probiotic, the bacteria comes back to life. It's being reactivated. It turns to yogurt. It gets thick. It doesn't smell. It becomes healthy, probiotic, and it becomes, you could say, ingestible. While the other, you can toss. Now, isn't that interesting? So the magic, which I find is a wonderful time to be on this planet Earth, it's all here. It's all around us. I also found out if you take regular chalk and put natural information of photonic information and aluminum sulfate frequency into the chalk, just the frequency, transmit that through a photonic tower and let the chalk sit under it, and then you put it in your acres as fertilizer, organic, mind you. Parasites stay away, your food grows bigger, and I haven't even talked about how to fractalize and correct the structure of water, bring that back to life. Because water from the source is the best. What do? We pump it, we force it, we drill, we transport. Do you think the water has the same information as it's coming from the source? Hell no. We laser it, we tag it, we barcode it. There's companies in Germany that you can find out for yourself that are already changing the barcode by adding bars to a top bar, lower bar, and I suggest companies do that. Also the laser tag, there was a company that disappeared and I can't find it. They had a green laser with a harmonious frequency to scan foods so they wouldn't disturb the food with the incorrect information that hits the food, and I don't care what it is. Food storage, I haven't even talked about photonically corrected food storage. I'm also an invention where I'm using food grade material, that's sanitary metal, that's 304 or 314, and I'm not a metallurgist specialist, but that I know. Put these devices where your food is being stored. Instead of neon, use LEDs that have the human spectrum, the sun spectrum, which will cost a little bit more money, yes. Invest in that, and your food will last longer. It's the word you understand in Whole Foods, the neon light and to sprinkle it with water is that is the harbinger of parasitic living. They love it. So all the green you eat, guess what? When you bring that home, wash it again, clear it again, have a filter in your system, ionize your water. Really, not always alkalizing it is the solution here. Ionizing. Find water filter structures that also ionize your water. Cleanse your food. Why do you think in the past the tribes used to bless their food, pray to their food? They would photonically adjust and modulate their intake. On Star Trek they have replicators. We're not there yet. They're there yet. We're trying to go there. Meaning that every molecule that you need to build anything, Earth is infinite. Not totally infinite, but for now, for your body, for your living, everything is here. There is no scarcity of water or food. That is all the way we produce. The problem with water, the water drought in California can be solved. Talk to people like me. You have to learn how to draw water back in. When water spirits retreat, that means the way you process the water, it becomes unholy, not blessed, and waterways clear out. That's why Grand Canyon is getting killed. You have the Hoover Dam. Understand, what are you doing to water? What are you doing to the consciousness of water? You cannot box it, or when it chooses to go a certain path, you cannot redirect it with a 90-degree angle, build a channel, and then assume there will be no flood. A flood in that area or a dam breaking only means that nature says, I tolerated this for 20 years, this is over now, I'm going back to where my actual natural flow is as the river runs it. So we have to come back to how the river runs it. And if we build environments in that way and put our gadgets together in what I've just mentioned, ships will naturally park over your house. Contact will naturally be established. And many, many out there will choose to be the chosen ones to be the ambassadors to mediate and communicate with the intelligence, so we don't have this over again, that you introduce the caveman to an extraterrestrial, and the caveman and doesn't understand high intelligence and slays the intelligence that actually tries to assist in evolution. So now higher evolution has to meet a little bit lower evolution, and we have to come together like this and bring it up. Understand? We have to activate it, work together, and bring it up. And it cannot be done with stealing from others, stealing ideas. It's about sourcing energy. That's why a magician is a sorcerer. He sources energy, not for misuse. Make it a shareable wave for all. Same with love, It's not exclusive. It's like file sharing, That doesn't mean, it's a free fall. No. You have to understand the feeling and the harmony of detecting empathically where we are. And when we get that, we understand, hey, telepathy comes back in. And then our original cosmic language comes in. Akama, Naya, Saya, Nekeshewe, Amasa Tatue, Amua Nekaya, Mesiwa Kaya, Siwatatiamat, Emio Asaku, Anu, Isatu Amayo Asira, Ayuasataka Amue Amue Nehwe, Nemue Sere Eter, Nempere Sataya Maayak, Ayumu, Sia Ata Akama Asiu Atumu. And then we understand each other again from a higher intelligent perspective. And this is who you are. A starseed. Understanding, understanding over and outer the four-dimensional aspects of that. You have a galactic intelligence that makes you, and you came here to this earth to change that for the better. So ask yourself, what are you actively doing for the planet besides taking people's money and running with other inventions? What I have experienced, and that's not to the listeners that are already on my side. I know I'm preaching to the choir. We have to detect those who are actually not doing it right. And yes, there's a wrong, and yes, there's a right. Everybody says there's no wrong, there's no right. We all are from the light, or we all are from the stars. Oh yes, our particles, we're all made out of stars. Now I'm talking about me being 9 years old, building a star base, because I'm obsessed with building star bases. I'm Lego blocks and building a star command post. And I found that on Lego, again, it's actually vintage now. It's now $200. It used to be 30 Dutch marks, and my mom got that from me. And I'm still obsessed with building a command center with a landing platform like a vortex array. And interestingly, Bashar shows up and he says he wants to build a landing vortex array in physical form. Hello. There are some people in Hawaii where I heard they're building a landing platform. Then there's the Rael movement, yes, criticized and attacked. The guy had contact with the Elohim. They came in their interdimensional ships and told them what they're planning to do. Guess what? They want to build an embassy of light. And what did I see? A little model with a silver ship hovering above it in domes and welcoming the ships. Yes, we want to do that. We want to bring into physical form landing platforms for our brothers and sisters so they can meet us on a frequency that we have to set up, meaning we have to climb the ladder half. The Bible says that. That's the same thing. You go one step towards God, He comes 3 steps towards you. Meaning if you build a landing platform, at some point you will have a ship landing, but you have to know the coordinates, the vortex areas, how to set up a vortex array, what minerals to put together, what geometry to use. And you have to know that these are your downloads and that this is your mission, because not everybody's a dentist, not everybody is a lawyer, not everybody is a doctor, not everybody is a policeman, not everybody is a fireman. You know what I'm saying? For that reason, everybody has an assignment. It's called the angelic assignment, and you all are angels. You all have wings, but not everybody uses their wings. Not everybody uses their psychic power for the good of all. That we are still have people for selfish reasons that still need to learn to adapt into a frequency where they can learn, hey, I need to step in gear, I need to get in gear, I need to get my together and do it right. And go back and say, I'm sorry, don't do it again. I had people that said, sorry, 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 sorry. Well, I'm like, I heard 10 times, yeah, we talked it through, and you do it over and over and over. You're not trustworthy. Those people won't be welcome in the community. We need to change our behavior. We have Facebook communities because we are being looked at by the councils. How do we behave in our communities? And a message to the trolls, the more you promote the disturbance, the more communities will know this is the one that shakes all the trees and upsets everybody in the community. But guess what? You won't be, how do you say, liked there, because you're not working with everybody else. Now I'm looking for people that work with me, work for the whole, scientists, people that have stuff, and I'm also tired of these free energy hoaxes. If you have a generator that works and produces electricity, turn the thing on, show it, and let people see it. It's over. Nobody can steal it anyway. We have something which is called divine copyright. Anybody stealing your stuff, it'll stop working. A friend of mine tried to steal part of my nanotech. All of his stuff stopped working. It's connected to my consciousness. If it's used in an undivine way, it will stop manifesting. Like the Tesla generator, the magnetic electricity generator. Not everybody can build one, but you have to have the assigned consciousness to build these devices so they work and so they can assist people. And that is very clear who is who. And more in this world, you will know who is who, because it'll be shown physically, it'll be evident for what's what. So what can I say? That's my opinion. I felt I wanted to share that with people, what it means to be a starseed, to acknowledge that we're cosmic, that we're actually ETs in human form, that I believe I was part of a hybrid program. I have memories when I was 10, I got picked up many times by ships. I had a little, invisible friend, which later on I saw a portrait of a being, and they say they're Asasani, and that's what they actually look like. And I thought, okay, when I was little, I couldn't share that with anybody, that I'm going crazy here. And that's, many of you have that, or ask your kids in dreams who comes to pick them up when they fly over the city and what is being shown. Interesting information there. So as to end this, I just want to say, when these beings appeared, I was 5 years old. At some point I couldn't take it anymore. I almost fell out of the back of my mom's car on a highway because the dude was sitting next to me. Scared the crap out of me because I couldn't understand and decipher that I'm part extraterrestrial. And then 32 or 35 years later, he showed up again with 2 of his friends. They visited me again. This time I got it. This time I understood. But not only that, back then my ex-girl, who wasn't so much into that stuff, saw them, scared shitless, and telling me, tell your people they can't come in here like that. And I need to go to the bathroom, and I'm scared. And through telepathy, I explained to them the in and outs. Do that with me, or when I'm secluded, or when I'm out in the field and nobody can detect that. Don't do that with her. Not everybody's ready to experience that. That's when people say, oh, I'm so desperate to want contact. We all are desperate for contact, but the fear programming in our body is not so desperate. So if you had physical contact right now, most of you would snap, guaranteed. So we need to heal our hate, our fear, our resistance. And when we become an act, and you can say a divine way, they come in by themselves. See a TV flickering, computer turning on and off. I mean, this stuff happens with us in the house on and off and on. We had some ET gifting. We had 4 fingers print on a window next to our bed, so I know we're being watched. Sometimes I see silhouettes walking around on our bed, my girl too. If we sense them, we know they're there. My girl at times channels them, and when they have something to say. We have a very high window in our house, where one morning we looked out the kitchen window where you can't reach that, like this, or You need a ladder or something, a concoction to climb up there. And the little crystal was placed on there. And then I listened to Stephen Greer talking about that they gift people with rare crystals at times. So we're in contact. We're making progress. This is disclosure. I'm part of the disclosure. I'm part of the, you can say, extraterrestrial ground crew that's waking up to the fact that I know that I'm from Arcturus. It's like when somebody would say I'm gay, I'm lesbian, or I'm whatever. This is like a cosmic coming out, if you will. I'm absolutely certain that I am that, and that most of you are. And basically, the discrimination needs to stop. Nobody is better than anybody else. We have love for you that you can't imagine. We died many, many times for others that couldn't believe that this even takes place. We were hunted as witches, as warlocks, killed, tortured, so we wouldn't come back. That's why torture was invented. Yet we're here, back again, out of love. Re-engineering, reverse engineering our angelic selves so we can fix the planet. And my main mission is basically, and that's where I want you to come to my Ascender group in Google, the Ascenders, A-Z, with an S, Ascenders with an S, and just be part of the mission, because in the future I will look for contact teams to go to Mount Shasta. We all chip together. I'm not doing a retreat where a retreat is $2,000 a weekend. That's all BS to me. Nothing gets really accomplished. I want it affordable for all, shareable, and so we can build upon. I want you to have a consciousness where we look at what's out there on online, where scientists or people that are too camera shy pick the ones that are not camera shy, step into the camera, step into the light, and bring it out and release it. I'll suggest everything you have, video log everything. My stuff is logged from 2009 to now. All the cells that I built, fuel cells, whatnot, whatever I have, everything is on video. Everything is uploaded. Everything is backed up on like 8 different hard drives that I have from Germany to here, stored all over the place. Everything is there. It's fact of what I created, and if you see any creation that leans on my creation, it'll be evident also. Has to do with holographic stickers with cosmic information. I came in with this. Not saying that I'm the only one that owns this, but I'm not laser engraving wooden pieces. Others do that, but I have a certain technique that's evident that you see when I do that. So I want people to have the consciousness of a Jedi. Jedi as in D-J-E-D-H-I. Jedi. The jet, which is the original symbol of my logo of my channel. It's the jet, the Earth core battery connecting to the sun. And come join my cause. It's not a cult. You can be Buddhist, you can be Muslim, you can be Christian, you can be Mormon. I don't care. It's not based on religion. It's based on, can you pass me a brick so I can build that bridge? So can we all say we all built that bridge? That's all I'm doing. So I'm looking for people like that that actively want to do something. Paranormal research. If we here in Sedona and I have the time, I meet with groups of people, night vision devices, sit at spots, document, channel information in. It's time now to bring that forth, to connect that ground crew, everybody who's ready for that. This is your disclosure. You have to do the work. Ships will not appear out of nowhere. Some of us can show you where they come in and come out, how to learn how to make a difference between government craft and interdimensional craft, how to develop your senses. It's like a Jedi school that will come where we'll do workshops where I really actually actively train you what is a Starseed diet, what is a Starseed consciousness, and how to develop that. I'm working on a book which is an ascension manual for Starseeds, and to develop that consciousness. Everybody has the capacity to do so. Not everybody makes the choice to do that. That is okay also. So please click the subscribe button, subscribe to my channel. I welcome you. Everybody that has subscribed, you are dear to me. I love you. I love you really, 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 honestly, really do have love for you. I really mean that. Because you show me that I'm doing something here that's being felt. It's worth it. It's worth fighting for. To believe in something. And it's tough to get subscribers because I'm not commercial. I'm controversial. And I'm giving people homework. Even when I give oracle readings for people, I'm not giving a reading to sugarcoat things. I'll give you homework. I will say, well, you have to get up and get this and this and this, and then see what happens in your life. Or people, in the first 2 days don't feel the key. Luckily, 98% feel the key the minute they put them on, or they sense it before it comes. People that have problems sensing the key, is you have to not just buy a key, get into a diet, get into the consciousness, connect with the key. I will also work on an Arcturian meditation that will be an hour meditation to get you out of the grid, to get you out of your mind and into your body and really connecting and synchronizing this with a Schumann resonance. So look out, soon coming. So this was a little bit that I wanted to share with you. Thank you for listening. And I catch you most certainly on the flip side. On that note, live long and prosper forever.